Hey, what's going on, crypto people? It is your boy, The Crypto Siege, with another day in the life and the crazy life that is the digital asset space. Why is that not flowing off my tongue like it should be? What's going on, guys? Good morning. Happy Thursday. I hope that you guys are having an awesome day today. Hope your morning has been great so far. I wanted to hop on here just really quick. Do a quick video on all this kind of crazy stuff that is going on. Crazy and crazy good. If you can see the big picture and what's really kind of happening. I'm going to put my headphones on here in a second, but just so that you guys can know that we're in a blessed space at the right time, right? At the right time, which is massive. So we're in the right place at the right time. Watching a couple of videos from Sam I Am the other day while I was on the road traveling from New York back to Virginia, and just kind of listening to some stuff. I saw this one thing first. I probably should knock that out first, so which really was a little frustrating. So I saw this interview that Sam I Am to the Life Post did. Hold on 1 second, guys. Yeah, so Sam did a video with some guy named Alex Nettles. I guess he has his own YouTube channel or whatever. And you know, Sam did a little 2 or 3 minute video to kind of promote that he had been on this interview with this Alex guy, and this Alex guy is he was cracking me up, you know, because he's definitely the Bitcoin maximalist for sure. And you know, he said a couple of interesting things, tried to take a couple of digs, and I'm amazed at how you know people, geniuses, can be so dumb and can say some of the stupidest things ever, you know. So, or people trying to pretend like they're geniuses. But anyway, so he was trying to take a couple of digs at XRP, and so Sam was polite, and you know, he covered things without losing it, which is cool. And I did think, you know, most of the conversation, most of that interview was cool, was positive, but there were, you know, a couple of digs. And you know, for this genius to say that Ripple had to pay a company to use XRP, like, sometimes people are so smart that they're just stupid, right? You know, when a CEO of a company spends billions of dollars, for example, to acquire another company, right? For example, no one says that the CEO paid the other company they just acquired to use a product. They see it as a brilliant move. They see it as leverage. They see it as a smart tactical move from the CEO, is dishing out the cash to acquire this company, or partner with a company, right? They don't see it like this Alex Nettles dude saw it with Ripple and MoneyGram, which is just beyond. But in any case, yeah, I was. It seemed like in an interview, you guys definitely want to check it out. Seemed like Sam was off his game a little bit, and you know, I felt like it was like, you know, this Alex guy was being so kind of, in a way, kind of kind, you know, mellow, that maybe it caught Sam off guard, because Sam was very kind and kind of mellow. And usually Sam is more on his game in terms of quickly being able to respond to stuff. He seemed a little off in his game, because a lot of times he was looking up a little bit and kind of trying to think what to say. I don't know, he seemed a little bit off in his game. So you guys want to check out the video for yourselves and tell me what you think and see if you agree with me or not. But in any case, I just wanted to just kind of cover that. It was a 95% of a great interview. Definitely didn't appreciate this guy Alex trying to take a couple of digs. Definitely 100% does not get XRP at all in what they're doing. And the reason why I even brought that up is because a lot of these BTC maximalists miss the genius that Ripple is doing. They completely miss it. Completely miss it. And here's one way that I want you to think about it. Before Ripple, the company, and this idea of cross-border payments that can be done instantly, where did you hear that being talked about? Tell me the sector or the space or the industry. Tell me the branch of Congress. Tell me the people, tell me in the financial sector. Tell me where in the world was that talked about before Ripple? Talked about. Tell me where. I'm not saying that there weren't a handful of companies here or there doing it, but I'm talking about being talked about. I'm talking about being on mainstream media, being talked about before Ripple. I can't think of a place. I can't think of a company. I can't think of a space that was talking or mentioning it before Ripple. What Ripple has done is open the eyes to the masses about what's possible in the payment sector. What other company is doing that? What other company has done that? I can't think of one. Again, I'm not saying there might not have been a handful of companies that were doing it, but Ripple came out and made it mainstream about how possible this thing is. I mean, have you been paying attention to what they've been doing? And whether back in 2015 or 13 or 14, whatever it was, that whenever they became the chosen one, they took the mantle, they took, the torch and ran with it. There has to be a genius in motion. You have to have a game plan and a strategy to lay a certain thing out, and then not only do that, to execute upon it. You have to execute. And this is what Ripple has done better than anyone else. And so this genius, Alex, is like, he's missing that. When the company from UBS says that we took the cost, which, hey, genius, listen, those costs come back down to the consumers. We took the cost of having to do a cross-border payment from $25 to under $1. The consumers benefit from that, genius. The consumers benefit from that. You guys get that? Because when we know that there's this company out there, because again, Ripple is getting out into the masses, this message. So as we know as consumers that we can get some stuff and payments done instantly for cheaper, where do you think they're going to go to have that done? You think they're going to settle for something less? The only reason they would settle for something less is if they don't know that there's something out there that's better. And that's what Ripple is doing. There's a reason why they had Corey Johnson on the payroll. There's a reason for that, why they had him there. It's to take the message out to the masses. And no one does it better than we do. And by the way, a lot of people are missing this too, and I hope you guys get this. The reason why there are return check fees and fees to do this, fees to use an ATM and a fee for everything else. The reason for that is because the 5, 6, 7 banks, the Bank of Americas and the Chase banks of the world, this current correspondent banking system is monopolized by these few banks. And they charge these other banks massive amount of money to be able to interact and play the game, to get in the game. You understand that? And so the fees that they're having to pay get trickled down to us as the consumers. But what if there was a system in place where these corresponding banks or these other small to medium-sized banks didn't have to play in that same game. You understand what I'm saying? That's why the fees are the way they are. The reason why there's a delay in your money showing up in your account is because it works better for the major banks for it to be able to be done that way. You see what I'm saying? There's more money for them. In the end, that's what it's about. And Ripple is coming in there and saying, no. We can get this done quicker. Ripple is saying we can get your money to you, Bitcoin maximalists. These BTC maximalists, where 99% of them are living paycheck to paycheck. We can get your money to you sooner. Who else is doing that? It's not the miners who are mining Bitcoin. They're not getting your paycheck that you're dependent upon. You know, and it's just, they're not getting that paycheck to you sooner. I mean, I don't know. It just, that dude was irritating me big time, because he was kind of sitting back there, you know, and underneath his breath, and, you know, snickering in a lot of ways, trying to be smart. It's unbelievable. But what other company is doing that? What other software company is doing that? The reason why the Fed is even looking into this faster payments thing is because of Ripple. It's because of Ripple. Like, I'm not even sure people understand that. Ripple just opened the eyes, awaken the sleep, you know, awaken the sleeping giant, if you will, that is the Federal Reserve, to what's possible. Listen, I've said it. If I said it once, I've said it 1,000 times. The genius in Ripple is in that network. That's where all their the Ripple net is where all their leverage is. And the fact that they have this protocol, and I think I read something, I'm not certain, but I read that the XRPL, that ledger, is now integrated into the ILP. Like, like 1 week I had read, they put it on the back burner and they're going to be getting to it. And I just read something the other day that they have actually done it. So now it's an ILP connector. If you guys have heard something different or know of something different, please let me know in the comments. It seemed like it was kind of done covertly, like it was just kind of, all right, let's go ahead and do it. Let's integrate into the ILP with the XRP ledger. But the brilliance and the genius, the thing that gives them the greatest leverage is the Ripple net. And when I mean the greatest leverage, it's over other private companies, over other private companies. The IOP protocol, you know, and the way what Ripple has designed that allows for the interoperability of different networks is massive. Listen, all right, listen. The Fed, what the Fed is doing now is nothing more than saying we are aware that we can provide. We are aware that there's a way that we can provide instant, faster payments. We're aware of it. You know, this whole idea that they're going to do something, like, you know, I've been a federal employee. I had been a federal employee most of my adult life, 99% of my adult life. And when the federal government says they're going to do something, that means they're going to get some company to do something for them. Okay? They're not building out any rails on their own. They're trying to figure it out. There's no money, there's no time for that. They're going to go with a private company that has already done it, that is better at doing it. And so in a sense, it may not be a bidding war. In a sense it's a bidding war, but it's not. They're going to use one or two private companies to get done what they need to get done. Contractor who subcontracts, right? That's what it's going to be about. And in the end, the ripple net is massive, and it's getting and the more the bigger it gets, the bigger it gets. If you understand what I'm saying, that's the genius behind what they're doing. That's the genius behind it. And let's not forget that Steve Mnuchin mentioned the company Ripple in Executive Order 13772. Didn't mention any other companies. President signed off on a new financial system. That was the premise. That was basically what that 13772 was about. A new financial system. And he mentioned a company called Ripple. If there's so many smart, great companies out there doing great things, why weren't they at the White House? You got to think about that. You have to think about that. And so, Ripple can, their focus may be cross-border payments, but they know what they can do. They know what they can do. And if they can get these people who are trying to do something in that and put them on the Ripple net and have them interoperate with each other, awesome. It's awesome. In the end, XRP is the bridge asset. In the end, it is. And I still think there's something going on, whether it be the UK or Japan, I'm not sure, where they're looking into a digital currency. This whole thing with China and the US, it's just page, it's page 10 of a 20-page playbook of what's going to roll out. If you don't believe me, just watch the Digital Nomad Investor. He'll lay it out. This whole this trade war thing is just the next step. So don't sleep on the IMF and how they're going to play, what role they're going to play in this whole thing. Because what China's doing with their own currency, it's not looking good. The Fed cut, that's another thing that's not looking good. But it does favor us as XRP holders. It does. Because this neutral thing that they're looking to do, which I believe Judy Shelton mentioned, will have XRP involved in that in some way, shape, form, or fashion. And I do remember reading, that Ripple ultimate goal was to become the digital asset world reserve currency. That was in their writing, is their ultimate goal. So we shall see. But as far as the cross-border payment thing and this Fed thing, cool. I do think that the Fed is, obviously they're going to pay attention to the whole MoneyGram thing. There's a reason why that MoneyGram was mentioned, right, in the press conference. There's a reason why that was mentioned. And I'm sure they're paying attention. You're going to see how that's going to work. Once they get those Q4 reports, we all know, as XRP holders, we all know how that's going to turn out. But once, the Fed finds out about the numbers, once they find out about that, listen, it's over. And the winner is, it's over. Now, we all know how it's going to turn. We all know how that's going to turn out. So whether, Ripple is chosen as the one to kind of, do this, U.S. thing or not, the Ripple net is the genius. That's where the leverage is. That's where the power lies. And the IOP, again, that Ripple created and gifted to the world, is the cherry on top. In the end, that's what it is. And so I'm excited about it. I'm really looking forward to these Q4 numbers for MoneyGram. Really excited about that. And Ripple's not resting on their laurels, right? I mean, they're going out and getting more contracts, going out and getting more partnerships. That they understand what's going on. They 100% understand what's going on. And again, one of the biggest things Ripple did is they made the masses aware of what's possible. That's why Visa and MasterCard were going at each other, trying to get Earthport. And when you think about, I heard about this the other day, that MasterCard went out and spent $3.19 billion on this Nets company that does some kind of instant payments thing, or is in the instant payment business for, I believe, Denmark. You know, that's not for no reason, right? MasterCard didn't just go spend $3 billion for no reason. MasterCard and Visa weren't going at it for no reason. It's because of this company, Ripple. It's because of this company, Ripple, and what we're doing. You got to get that. So whenever you might talk, you come across some BTC Maximus guy, I understand that it's Ripple. That is the reason that there's even an idea of getting your paycheck to you, or getting their paycheck to them sooner rather than later. It's because of Ripple. It's not because Mnuchin or Powell just said, why is everybody waiting for their money? They didn't come up with it. We did. Ripple did. You understand what I'm saying? We did that. I was talking with a few friends the other day, last week, before I went out of town, and the idea of them being able to get paid the same day that they put the work in, I was like, what? Nah, yeah. And I try to explain to them about, Venmo and his Google Pay and Apple Pays, and how that money's not really moving, and how Ripple is changing that. And these are young guys, mid-20s, early 30s, two guys. Didn't even think about that possibility. Of course, when I mentioned it to them, I explained to them, they're like, oh man, that would be nice. That would be nice. But it's because Ripple, the company, is looking to make that happen. And so when I hear about this whole bankers coin thing, like, listen, the big 5 or 6, again, banks are not happy about Ripple, but the 95% of the other banks are ecstatic about what we're trying to do. Remember that. And you're going to have to educate these guys who don't quite get it, that the reason, again, why there's these fees and all these kind of crazy fees in this banking system is because of the 5 to 7 banks that have monopolized it. That greed, that they would even try to leverage, quote unquote, their own people in their own business, monopolize other bankers. That's that overall greed, that overarching greed. That's the reason why. And that's those fees, of course they trickle down. These other banks got to stay in business as well. Of course they trickle down. So this is, again, I've always said that Ripple, this cross-border payments, is just the entryway to the amazing things that they're going to do for you and I. So anyway, guys, I just wanted to hop on here and just kind of see how I see, share with you guys how I see these things with MoneyGram. Everyone's watching, the world's watching, and more importantly, the president and the Fed, they're watching what's going to happen with MoneyGram. How that's going to work out. How's this fintech company, this private company, how are they dealing with MoneyGram? How are they making their system better? How much money are they saving them? Oh, what is this new income stream that MoneyGram is now talking about? What is that about? Right? And they're watching, they're paying attention so that they can roll out Ripple and introduce it to the world. That's why Ripple's always on CNBC and other channels being interviewed. It's so they can introduce Ripple to the world. So they can say, oh, look what this company did with MoneyGram. And oh, look at all these different banks that are using using the XRapid product. And oh, look at what they're doing. And does the network have to prove itself? Absolutely. Does it have to prove itself that it can handle the volume and the velocity of that volume? Of course it does. Of course it does. But there's no other company that's better positioned to make that happen. No other company is positioned to make it happen. So, exciting time, guys. I hope you guys are just as excited as I am. Never, ever forget this, guys. Old money doesn't want you to win. They don't want us to win. They would rather us remain a cog in their perpetual wheel of trading our time for dollars. They don't want us to play in the same playground that they play in, where we allow our money to work for us. This is our chance to win, guys. The digital asset space is our chance to win. We are in the midst of the greatest transfer of wealth in the history of man. Are you participating? Or are you standing on the sidelines? Here's what I do know. The battle for you has already been fought. And the victory is yours. Go get it. I'll talk to you soon, guys. See ya. Bye.